Theoretical recap. Exception handling in Python is a fundamental mechanism that allows your program to react gracefully when something unexpected happens at runtime, instead of crashing abruptly. The core syntax revolves around the try/except block. You place the risky code inside the try block, and you define what to do if a specific error occurs inside the except block. Python has a rich hierarchy of built-in exceptions. One of the most common when working with files is FileNotFoundError, which is raised when you attempt to open a file that does not exist at the specified path. A common mistake beginners make is catching all exceptions with a bare except clause, except, which hides bugs and makes debugging very difficult. Always aim to catch the most specific exception relevant to your situation. Another frequent error is forgetting to close the file after opening it. Using the with open as F pattern solves this automatically. Mental model. Think of try/except as a safety net beneath a tightrope walker. The try block is the walk. The except block is the net that catches a specific type of fall. You can also add an else block, runs if no exception occurred, and a finally block, always runs, useful for cleanup. Mini example. Python. Try. With openaccess.log, r, as f. Content equals f.read. Except FileNotFoundError. Print error. The log file was not found. Please check the path. This pattern is exactly what you will apply and extend in this workshop. Workshop brief. In the previous workshops, you built a script that reads a log file and counts the number of lines containing the word error. That script assumed the log file always existed. In a real security automation context, where you may be parsing logs from remote servers, rotating log directories, or running scripts on different environments, the log file may simply not be present. A script that crashes with an unhandled traceback is not production ready and is not acceptable in a DevSecOps pipeline. Your mission in this workshop is to make your log reading script robust by properly handling the FileNotFoundError exception. You will extend the script you produced in the workshop, reading a log and counting error lines activity, or recreate it from scratch if needed, and add meaningful error handling so that the tool behaves professionally when the target file is missing. Concrete steps to follow. Start by reviewing your previous log reading script. If you no longer have it, rewrite a script that opens a log file. You can create a sample one called system.log with a few lines, some of which contain the word error, reads it line by line, and prints the total count of error lines. Next, deliberately test what happens when you run your script with a file name that does not exist. For example, ghost.log. Observe the traceback Python produces. Note the exact exception type raised. This is your target for handling. Now, wrap your file opening logic in a try/except block that catches FileNotFoundError specifically. When the exception is caught, your script must not crash silently either. It must print a clear, informative message to the user indicating which file was not found, and suggesting a corrective action, for example, verifying the path or checking that the file has been generated by the system. Once the basic handling is in place, go further. Use an else block to display the ERR count only when the file was successfully read, and add a finally block that prints a message such as script execution complete, regardless of whether an error occurred. This will demonstrate a full understanding of the try/except/else/finally structure. As a final step, encapsulate the entire file reading and counting logic inside a function called analyze_log_file_path. The function should accept a file path as a parameter and return the number of error lines found, or return none, or -1, if the file was not found. Call this function from the main part of your script, passing at least 2 test cases, one with a valid log file and one with an invalid path. Print the result of each call in a clear and readable way. Advice to overcome difficulties. If you are unsure about how to structure try/except/else/finally, refer back to the exception handling try/except lesson before writing a single line of code. Do not try to memorize syntax, understand the flow of execution. Draw it out on paper if needed. What runs when everything works, what runs when FileNotFoundError is raised, and what always runs. If you are struggling with the function structure, revisit define and call simple functions in the workshop, est_pair, port, function for guidance on how to pass parameters and return values. The key skill being assessed here is your ability to combine file reading, exception handling, and functions into a single, coherent, and reusable piece of code, exactly the kind of utility script a security engineer would place in an automation pipeline. Make sure your script is clean, readable, and commented. Variable names should be explicit, file path, error_count, line, and your error messages should be professional. Imagine they will be read by a colleague or logged in a C/CD pipeline.